Happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing well. Take a little sip of this before it gets cold. All right, we're going to do a little Sunday afternoon chit chat. I'm going to show you my witchy box. I hope you're all having a good weekend. Been quite a week, hasn't it? Let's see. We had the King of Rock and Roll's daughter pass away. I was actually looking at her stars yesterday, and I didn't print it out, but I'll come back on here and do that for you guys. I personally think Lisa Marie Presley died of a broken heart in some ways. However, looking at her stars, there were some addictions. If I have time tomorrow, I'll try. Hey, Kate, how are you? If I have time, I'll try and get on here tomorrow and do a little 10-minute thing about Lisa Marie Presley. She also had a moon in Pisces, which is one of the hardest placements in the zodiac, especially if you're a man. A little easier when you're a woman, but when you have a moon in Pisces, the moon rules emotions. So um, when it's in Pisces, this is where illusions and delusions could set in, where the individual is operating on full emotion and letting go of all rational thought. So there's that. But I'll go over it either tomorrow or the next day a little bit. Oh, wow. Have you moved yet? Anyway, then earlier this week we had the FAA debacle, and those that are in my Patreon, never travel. If you can avoid traveling when Mercury retrograde, do so. Mercury retrograde controls the weather, barometric pressure, things like that. It's mercurial energy, the weather. But it also controls communication. So there you go. This whole thing that happened, Mercury retrograde, happens every time. Okay. I hope you're okay. I haven't been on TikTok much lately. I've been taking kind of a hiatus from that. I post a little here and there, but um, I do hope you're okay. I'll have to go get on TikTok and scroll around. Okay, and so then we also had the whole Biden thing. Let's not forget that. You know what I find funny about the Democratic Party is those who they're like, what's that saying go? How's that saying go? Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Um, Politicians are politicians. It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum they're on. Um, yes, this retrograde has been rough. Now, modern astrology, it leaves, I believe, what, the 18th and the 19th? But my method, it is officially gone by the 29th of January. So we're in it for another 10 days or so. Um, it's been a doozy for a great many people. Uh, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn creates disagreements in Congress too. Look at Congress. How many votes? 14, 15 votes later, or was it 11? Um, no one can agree. There's a lack of this is politics. When Mercury goes retrograde in the political sign of Capricorn, you can expect this kind of energy in on Capitol Hill. Also, what's going on with Biden has a lot to do with that as well. I need to go and look at his stars. I have always felt that he would never finish his term. And I told you many years ago, those who have followed me for a while, that future's female. And I don't think Kamala Harris is going to get elected, but she is going to maybe fall into that role. There's that possibility. Um, he looks like a walking zombie, in my opinion. I'm a little concerned. But I'll have to go look at Joe Biden's stars. But we've got that going on as well, creating more division and fighting between red and the blue, I guess. What else happened? Oh, in my state of Arizona, it is now illegal to dress in drag. You will be arrested. So I don't know what they do on Halloween when you dress up, but you cannot dress in the opposite gender. Oh, so if I wanted to dress up as a man, put a mustache on, dress, I could be arrested. Uh, yeah, Arizona. Arizona is like Texas's stupid little brother. I don't know how else to say that. Welcome to a red state. Oh, what was the other thing in the news? Oh, yes, you cannot bear arms. And I don't mean these kind of arms. I mean literal arms in the state of, oh my God, what state was that? It's somewhere in the Midwest, I think. Some state made it a law that you can't wear, you have to cover your arms, like in Saudi Arabia or something. Okay, yeah. Mankind has just lost it. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy world out there, isn't it? Anyway, yes, Kate, go and look. I don't know what news channel I heard it on. I think it was ABC. This was last night. I was watching the evening news. I hadn't watched the news in a couple of days. So first thing that was up was this thing about some state making it a law that women can't bear arms, and not the gun kind, the literal arms. You cannot bear your arms. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? It is 2023, but it feels like 1923, or maybe even 1823. Anyway, this is January's, I don't know what else to say, Witch's Moon Box, and it's actually quite lovely. Let's start out with, sometimes I get interesting artifacts or things to hang on my wall. But I actually follow this lady on YouTube here, Madame Pitma, and this is the Book of Candle Magic. It is an absolutely beautiful book. Go follow her. She is here on TikTok. She is absolutely amazing. I've been following her for years. I'm a little jealous because one of my broom sisters back in California got to go to a meet and greet and meet her a couple of weeks ago at a place called the Serpent's Kiss in Santa Cruz. So I'm a little jealous. But Candle Spell Secrets to Change Your Life. Not only does this book have candle secrets, but it also shows you how to make candles as well. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Bear with me. Talks about candle reading, the power of numbers, making magic candles. There it is, page 99. But I would go and follow her on YouTube. I do, and she's a pillar of information. But chapter 6 is all about um, making candles and the magic of making them. And I do believe you can order this book at Llewellyn's. I'm going to hold that as still as I can. I don't think this was a special edition one. Some of her books that she puts in her witches boxes are special editions. It is a hardcover. Uh, but no, I believe you can just order this at Llewellyn's. So check it out. it's a great book. I'm trying to finish another book before I get into that one or into this one. Yeah, it's quite lovely. I always love it when I get books. And obviously it's very appropriate, this book, because the mantra for the month is candle magic. And I will say, I don't, you know, there isn't big significance to reading the flame, reading the candle. I don't know if a lot of witches realize this. I'm sure most do, but the younger witches maybe not so much. But there is deep meaning in the reading of a candle. I'm going to give you a perfect example of something. Okay. I, several years ago, had to do a breaking ties spell for a client. Okay. And the client failed to mention this to me when I started doing the spell. Anyway, as I was doing the breaking ties spell, and I had a white and a black candle, and I had them tied, um, the white being the individual who paid for my services to break the ties with the other person. The candle, the white candle burned down about halfway. The black candle burnt down maybe a quarter of the way. The cord never caught flame like it should have, and it just died out. The flame just died out. It never. So I took pictures of this, and I had to explain to the person there's more to this story. The individual came at me and said, well, yeah, um, how do I put this? I'm dealing with them still in court, and I probably won't be done dealing with them for another two years. Well, can't break ties if you have connections like that. It's not going to work. Meaning, what had happened to that cord cutting didn't take for a very significant reason, because you were not done yet with this situation, with this individual. When you break ties, you have to break ties completely. There cannot be any unfinished business, nothing. Then you cannot cut the cord will not burn. So, uh, always read the flame. There's a significant message there. And obviously, the flame burnt completely out without even the black candle melting down, but a quarter, if that. That told me right then and there, because I'm the old crone, aha, this individual is not telling me everything. Anyway, just my little witchy experience. And then you get a little card manifestation. This is chalcopyrite. Chalcopyrite is a stone, is a magical stone that helps with being healthy and strong, and helps with physical movement and outdoor exercises. So it's a good stone to have. I don't have any of that actually in my collection, but yes, supports physical strength training, increases time in sunlight for a healthy body, amplifies physical movement, and increases good health. That's a perfect card for January. We're all trying to get a little healthier after all the indulging during the holidays. And we also have the Brigitte. Is that Brigitte? I'm on in bulk mode, I guess. No, this is Bright of Candlelight, and it's just a little it's a little incantation that I would probably use during February 2nd, which is in bulk candle mass. Um, that date is where we are between the solstice and the equinox. So we're 6 weeks in to the winter. but we're also 6 weeks more closer to a spring equinox. So. And then they have these cool little sigils. You've got protection. You've got healing, protection, honoring, and prosperity. So these are all good sigils to use in any of your magical endeavors. I hope you could see that. It's just a set of candles for candle magic. 3 white candles. You know what's funny is I had just ordered, I'm getting ready to put some stuff up in my store. I just ordered a whole bowl of these, and that is this month's, which is red jasper. Which is it's a love stone, but it's not just a love stone. Um, if I was to make a subscription box, I would have probably put this stone in for the month of April, Aries, because this is a stone of courage and action as well. Passion too, but it has other properties besides just passion. But that is the stone of the month. And then my herbs, we've got clove, which can be used for a multitude of things. Clove can be used in love. It actually can be used in hexing as well. Mine too. I love red jasper. Pimento, and not the kind that's inside an olive. I'll tell you what all these mean in a minute. And then bay leaf. Well, we all know what bay leaf is for. Um, but if you don't, I'll explain. Now, bay leaf is great for all kinds of things. I mean, I use a whole bay leaf sometimes, and we do like little bay leaf wishes. Um, it's great for protection and healing. It's also called, I believe, laurel leaf. They call it laurel leaf as well. But bay leaf, um, it's a good attraction herb. Brings strength and protection to you during trying times. Um, if you decide to crush the bay leaf within this box, you can easily include it in your herbal mixtures, candle dressings, oils, and magical workings. And then the clove, I use clove in a lot of different things. Yeah, me too, Kate. I use clove in a great many things. I've used it in love spells. I have used it in hexing spells. It all depends on how you use it. Clove is one of those multi-diverse kind of. You can use it for a multitude of things. But here, she states that clove is known as for the ability to drive away unwanted energies or spirits. We have always relied upon these energies when working prosperity spells. Due to the strong scent of clove, its ability to add potency to any mixture becomes prominent. See, it's a conduit herb, in my opinion. Me too, Kate. I do. It smells so lovely. But they're great for banishing um, of doubt and anxiety, and may be present during social gatherings or interactions, including clove in all your candle settings or placed within magical bags or talismans. So clove is another herb that is multi-purpose herb. Pimento, which is another fancy name for allspice. It's kind of seemed like allspice, pimento. And allspice, I use allspice a lot as well. Um, Allspice, she's saying here, is good in your cuisine, of course, but it's also known for the ability to build courage and reinforce boundaries. Um, it has a list of common attributes, and you'll find that allspice can bring fast luck and prosperity, as well as speed up the healing process. So it's great in healing. I actually use this in my pet protection spells with allspice. So some of my pet protection spells. And then the incense of the month, of course, is dragon's blood, which is another multi incense. It adds energy to whatever you're doing. It's what when I'm teaching students, I tell them it's your go-to herb. It can be used for a multitude of things. And then you get obviously a sacred oil of the month, which is enchanting in enhance an enhancing oil. And smells very nice. I'm saving the best for last. A packet of salt. This is gold salt. Hold on, let me see what it says about the salt. The anointing oil, okay. The anointing oil is actually created to enhance your spell work. Any kind of work associated with clearing out energies, anointing magical tools, things like that. Now, the salt, I don't see it on here. Here it is. I'm just blind. The salt is used in meditation and used during ritual. You can even use it and put it in your bath for achieving goals and bringing your intentions to fruition. So the salt. And last but not least is something, those of you that are in my Patreon, you will know this. When I'm doing certain magical things, you'll see this crusty, crappy old nail file that I use for inscribing on my candle, right? So I get to retire that crusty, crappy old nail file. I actually probably will keep it just in case. But this is a candle inscriber. And boy, is that lovely. That is just so pretty. It's heavy too. It has a very pointy edge, so you can now start inscribing your candles. But yeah, that is it. A candle inscriber. Very pretty. Right up my alley. Something I definitely need. I do a lot of candle magic. So never her boxes are never a disappointment. And that is it for the Witch's Moon box for January. Very pretty. Yes. I'm not wait to dive into that. I just enjoy a lot of her readings. She's very informative, and you can learn a lot. So go check out Madame Pitma. Go check out her YouTube channel as well. She's amazing. All right, bear with me. I'm going to pull a few angel cards. If you would like, Kate. I will pull one for you. But while I'm on here, I actually was going to save this for another day, but I think I want to talk about it real quickly. We're going to talk about sage, okay? Um, just let me get my shit together and get everything put away here in its proper place. I want to talk about sage, and the reason I want to talk about this is it's a real big debate on TikTok, but um, white. I have three kinds of sage that grow wild in my yard, and one is um, common sage. I have a clary sage, and I have a white sage. Now, white sage grows wild on my property. Okay. Now you may ask, what do I do with that sage? So let me get my book, one of my book of shadows, because I wrote something down a long time ago about it. Okay, so for those of you who have followed me for a while, you know I stopped selling white sage in my store probably 3 years ago. Okay. Um, and it seems like it's a real big deal on TikTok, even more than anywhere else. Now, I go to those Indian markets, okay, and the Native American arts and crafts shows and stuff around the state. So it does start there because they do sell it. I've seen it with my own eyes that they sell it, okay? White sage. So you got to start from the source, okay? Um, there are people that don't realize that that is a sacred herb to our indigenous brothers and sisters. And they think because they're at a Native American festival or whatnot, that it's okay to buy that because, they're naive and they don't know any better. But you're also setting them up to fail when you sell it at your markets. Okay. So it does start within, how do I put it? It starts, it starts within the tribe itself. Okay. Um, Now, I've been to several markets here in Arizona I'm, dealing with several different nations, Yavapai, Navajo. So it does start there. If it's that sacred and that big of a deal, then you need to stop selling it. But see, it doesn't matter what race you are. The almighty dollar it wins out a lot of the times. Okay. Yes to the cards. Okay, I'll do that in a second. I'm not going to be long here on this, but I have some notes here that I've written down. Now, the family I married into is part indigenous. They're Greek and Irish and Native, and not Cherokee, Blackfoot. So, um, white sage. Now, as a wholesale buyer, I have a lot of issues when I'm buying wholesale. Um, I have to really, really search and make sure that the smudge sticks I'm buying are not white, have any white sage in them. Do you know what a hard task that is as a buyer to try and find that? I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Do you know how hard it is to find that? Now I've achieved it. I just put in a wholesale order and I'm going to be selling some of these products in my store. Let's start with white sage. Now, white sage is an ancestral protection, not this color ancestors, not my ancestors, their ancestors. So, when you use a white sage, you're not protecting your home, you're not cleansing your home. actually inviting the spirits in when you do it. It calls them in. Yes. It is an ancestral protection for the indigenous of Turtle Island. Okay. It's not an ancestral protection for a Wiccan who's white or someone with any European descent. It's a sacred cleansing. Now, I've gone and been to so many of these powwows that I've been blessed and saged with white sage, but I'm not the one doing the blessing. It's the chief or whoever's in charge. You enter and they sage you. They've saged my husband, my kids. Anytime you enter something as sacred as that, you're blessed and lucky to be there because you've been invited, you will be saged. Now, that's what it's about. Now, it does grow wild in my yard, and you know, if Mother Earth is providing it for me, I'm going to do something with it. So I actually do make my own sage bundles, and I give them away to my indigenous friends. I have a friend up in Sedona who runs a medicine tent, and I give those out to him, and some of the other natives I know in this state. So that's white sage. There's a big controversy about it on YouTube or on TikTok, but I don't see it talked about much in other parts. So I just kind of wanted to clear that up about the white sage. However, there is something even more powerful that you could use that I prefer to use more. Hold on. I should have had this ready. But so I think this was given to me last year, and some of it I'm giving away to my indigenous friends because it has a mixture. But I am, let's see, here it is. These are the three I was looking at. I want to talk about, first, let's talk about cedar sage, okay? Cedar sage. One of the white sage. Oh, my thing isn't. Sorry if it's my broadcast is kind of iffy at the moment. It's saying I need to reconnect. Okay, so cedar sage. Let's talk about cedar sage. Cedar sage is used in ceremony. So if you are a practitioner, this would be great in some of your spell work. It's great for purification, cleansing, and protection. This is something I would use to smudge my altar, smoke cleanse my altar, and creating my sacred space. Cedar sage. Okay, the next one. If you're having trouble remembering your dreams, black sage is one of the best you can do for yourself with psychic abilities, being a little more intuitive. It's good for lucid dreams and protection, but this is about tapping into the spiritual and the subconscious realm in some ways. Black sage. All right, the next one I want to talk about is one of my favorites. I use it all the time. Okay, all the time. And I just put in a wholesale order. I will be selling both the black sage and the blue sage in my store. A little 4-inch stick will cost you about $3.50, something like that. Blue sage. Now, blue sage for any kind of exorcism, things like that. I'm very prone to using it after I come out of paranormal investigations. When it arrives, I'll let you know. Patreon will be the first to know. I wrote my notes here. Hold on. It cleanses negative energy. It's great for smoke cleansing your house, and can also be used to bring health, wealth, and prosperity. So Blue sage. It is one of my go-to herbs out of everything. And I don't understand why, believe it or not, there's more power and potency in the black sage and the blue sage than there ever is in the white sage. Okay. There's so many other things you can cleanse with. In fact, you can cleanse with rosemary. Rosemary, I've gotten rosemary, they sell a mixture of blue sage and rosemary bundles, and you could sage with that and cleansing your home and getting the energy out. So I think there's this, what's the word I'm looking for? Misconception about white sage and sage itself. I do too. Pine. That's the one I was thinking of. Pine. For rosemary and pine bundles. Yes. Okay, then we have, that's speaking of pine. Here's my next one. Pinyon pine smudge, which I don't have to show you because I think I used it all. I had two of them, and um, I had two of them. Here, no, I do. Here's the other one. I never opened it. A pinyon pine smudge. And pine obviously is a natural cleanser. It also is good to repel insects. Okay, if you, especially in the summer times, you got bug problems. Pinyon pine smudge. Um, Great for repelling insects, but it's also one of the best alternatives for white sage. If you want the next best thing to white sage, pinyon pine smudge. Now, I cannot find the pinyon pine smudge wholesale yet. Okay, yet. I'm still hunting. But you can get it, like I said, you can go to the Mayan Rose shop.com. I think she has an Etsy store, and you can get it from her there. The only other one I'm going to show you, and I wrote this down, is the Dragon's Blood Sage. Now, it is very, very hard to find dragon's blood that is not mixed in with a white sage. In fact, okay, so this one's okay. This one is a dragon's blood sage, but it's not made with white sage. And the dragon's blood is made with a different type of sage. And I just wanted to go over those because I do see a lot of, I've seen like out from, full-blown fights on TikTok over this. So I kind of wanted to get on here and stick my 2 cents in because I guess marrying into an indigenous family or part indigenous, I understand their plight, and I get it totally. But the reason it's being over processed and overgrown is greed, and everyone's guilty of that. Okay, every race, including the indigenous race, is guilty of that greed. Because, like I started out here on my broadcast, stop selling it at your native markets. Then you have to stop selling it. It's got to stop at the root of the problem. I know some, not all, but some don't think it's a big deal. And then you have others who think it's a very big deal. So for like myself, I just nipped it right in the bud 3 years ago, and I just stopped selling it. Okay. One of my favorite combinations is sage and lavender. It is one of my favorites, and I'm having a hard time finding it um, where it doesn't have white sage in it. So um, I'm on a hunt for that. And you're right. So many of them just won't listen. Um, it is one of those things, but I just wanted to get on here and clear that up and really let you know there's something even better than white sage you could use. And I've given you a few examples here. And no, I got this gift bag last year for my birthday. And yeah, I mean, it has a lot of stuff in here that, like, look, the white sage and lavender. So I will give that to my friend because he runs a medicine tent, and that would be great for a calming effect on people that he's working on. He's a shaman, so he helps people. So, once a year. There's also desert magic sage, which I did not put in my book of shadows, but the desert magic sage comes from Arizona and New Mexico, and areas like Taos. This is a fragrance. This is not really for magic. It's more of a fragrance that connects your heart to of the deserts. So it's. I mean, you could use it for magic, kitty. But yeah, see, you get a big old bag of this stuff, and what's the other one? White sage and cedar. So I'll be giving that away as well. And I have a lot of, like I said, relatives in my life that are native. I also have some family members. My mother-in-law told me, she says, stop giving me any more white sage because I got enough white sage to last me till after I'm dead. She goes, and then my sons can burn it. when they're like, when after someone dies, you go and you pay your respects. She goes, then you guys can go and burn it when I'm dead. Just like, oh my god. So yeah, I was kind of unloading here. I'm not selling this in my store. Take this. But I kind of spread it all around. I gave it to a whole bunch of different people, and apparently I have more to give here. I have yet to get up to Sedona, but when I do, I have a gift for my shaman friend. It's like this huge. I got sent last year. I'm not going to mention the company. It's a wholesale company, and as a gift for my patronage, they sent me like this 12-inch, 10-inch, huge white sage stick bundle like that. I mean, it's a big old thing. What in the hell am I going to do with that? And I didn't want to say anything. I was just like, oh, thanks. But I just wanted to go over the white sage thing. I guess I'll change the comments in here, and update and talk about white sage. Because it seems like it's a real big controversy, and I just don't understand why it's so coveted when it's really not for cleansing at all. And I'll give you another perfect example. Years ago, I had a relative who lived in a house that was haunted, and no matter what they did, they got a priest. That didn't work. Bless the house. Nothing worked. So I decided to do a little digging, and I found out that where they were living back in the late 17 and 1800s, because this was in California and it was near a mission, one of the California missions, they would bury their native indigenous on the top of the hill in unmarked graves. And so, my understanding, this neighborhood where this family member lived, there were like 2, 3, 4 block radius of homes with a lot of paranormal activity, but it was the land. It was not just the house. It was the land. So one of my cousins said, this was a relative, thought it'd be a good idea to smudge the house with white sage. I shouldn't laugh. Okay, so they did that. They smudged their home with a white sage. And I get a phone call a couple of days later telling me that, do I know of any paranormal investigators? Because the energy has just intensified. And I asked, well, did you do anything? Then when they call the whole neighborhood, yes. When they told me this, and they said ever since they smudged, it got worse. And I'm like, well, what did you smudge with? And then they told me, just a white sage stick I bought at blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you did make things worse, because what you did is you opened up, if there's already a portal there and you're using white sage, um, like we just had this discussion, that's ancestral, indigenous ancestral. And what you did is you just opened a portal. They came through and saw you and went, that's not my ancestor. Who the fuck are you? I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say that. So anyway, long story short, there was, I don't even think you could bless the house. We ended up I got a psychic medium to go in there and take a look around. And then they were like, no, there's nothing you can do right now, because it's not just your property. In fact, the energy was coming from next door. So there's that. So you got to really think about what you're doing, even when you're cleansing. Okay. That's right. So many don't do the research. So do the research. Now, like I said, if you go to a powwow and they sage you, that's a whole different story. Okay? Completely. I've been saged many, many times. But anyway, that's what I want to talk about. White sage. But like I said, my favorite is blue sage and that pinyon pine. It's one of the best. In fact, the pinyon pine, like I said, is the next best thing to white sage. Okay, Kate, here we go. Calling on the spirits. Let's see what message they have for you. This is another one I've never drawn before. All tied up. And it is a 23. 2 and a 3 is a 5. So it's about putting in work, putting in the hard work, doing the time. But I'm going to read it from the book for you, just so you get the full perspective here. When you have this card, it is about lack of motivation or sense of personal freedom. And it was upright when I pulled it. So this card shows a woman tied up with vines around her wrists, body, and arms. Receiving this card upright represents situations in your life where things seem to be severely stuck. A major drama may be going on around you, stopping you from moving forward, or it may be that some of the technicalities are blocking your way. Perhaps you're waiting for a contract to be signed or an agreement to be made. Whatever is holding things up, the restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. I'm sorry, but yeah, these cards, I know there are people out there that are very anti-oracle cards and they strictly do tarot, but I'm telling you, these cards they hit home, big time. Let's see if it says anything else. If this isn't technically the case for you, that's tying you up, it's your own personal stuff. Look at your life and see how you can be your own jailer. You might be tying yourself up in some emotional angst or in a negative habit. Now, the mantra, Kate, for this affirmation, light a white candle and say, I release stuck energy, old habits, and restrictions. My life is opening up and I am free to choose my reality. Um, you're on my Patreon, and I only had 2 people out of my Patreon take me up on this, but Patreons get a 3-card spread tarot. I guarantee you, if I was doing your tarot, uh, what card would that be? Probably get the Hangman. The Hangman card represents being stuck in a rut. Since you're Patreon, if you want me to do that, let me know, and I will do a 3-card spread for you. Okay. All right, I'm going to do another pull, and this is just for the week ahead. Okay. Since we are almost in our last week, I'd say. No, not quite last week. What is the date? The 15th. 14 more days of Mercury retrograde per se. I know, the 19th for modern. I'm not modern, honey. I'm ancient. Okay, I will. I'll do it this evening after I cook dinner. But let's see what the world at large, what's happening with the world at large for this week, the week of the 15th through the what? 15, 16, 17, 18, 21st, 22nd. Ooh, they all fell out. Oh my God. I wonder if that's a sign. Hold on. Let me try this again, kids. All right, here we go. Card pull for the world at large for this week, the week of the 15th through the 21st. 21st is a new moon in Aquarius. So this week we're going to feel the yin and the yang energy, which is a 22, and that is a master number. So anytime we draw a card that has a master number, we do have to follow it pretty much to the letter in some ways. But the yin and the yang energy is the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. It's about balance, correct. 22 is my number too. I happen to have a master number. I notice witches, a lot of witches have a master number, whether it's 22, 11, 33, 44. I'm noticing this. There's another witch that I've done reading for on TikTok. I won't say her name. She's Irish. I think you know. Her master number came out. Her lucky number came out to a master number. A couple other people I know that are pagan. Their lucky numbers are master numbers. This is about passive and active, intuitive and logical. There's a balance. That's what you said, and that's exactly what it is. It's about putting things in balance. And that goes also for what we hear on the news this week. It sounds completely ridiculous, and it just might be. I love her too. Put logic and reason into things before you make an accurate decision on things. This card represents energies, life cycles, and the purpose is to help you identify the particular energy cycle moving into and out of your experiences. So the affirmation here is that you are able to open up and understand the cycles that I am in, and I am willing to utilize this energy beneficially. All that I need is already part of me. So this is really, I'm not going to go into great detail. I don't think I have to. I think you get it. I think you understand Like I said, we're in the last phases of Mercury retrograde. So when Mercury is retrograde, a lot of us feel very ungrounded, very unconnected to things. Now, I was born with Mercury retrograde, so we flourish. And sometimes souls that are born when Mercury was retrograde flourish in this energy. Now, what I mean by flourishing is doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm a basket case at times, but I seem to be able to get a lot more done, especially when the moon is wanting. That cleanup mode of getting things done helps. Um, it's just, oh, I don't know. It's a way of using some chaotic energy, um, the chaotic energy in a positive manner. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we are in the yin and the yang. So remember, there's dualities in all things, but this is also about balance and harmony. So just that's what this week's going to bring. More chaos will come, and we're in a negative window, I believe, at this time too. Um, so it could get kind of crazy the next 24 to 48 hours. Just be prepared. Watch the news, and you'll see what I mean. Um, Kate, I'll do that for you this evening, so keep an eye out. All of you out there, I wasn't going to be on here for an hour, but here I am. I decided to jump in and talk about this whole sage thing just a little bit and give you some better alternatives. And even myself, I struggle to find wholesale sage, but I just put a big order in. It should be here next week. I just bought cedar sage, I bought black sage, and I bought blue sage. So if you're looking for sage, and I'm probably going to do this on my TikTok, since this is a big thing, I could give people alternatives now. And I don't see a whole lot of that happening where people are how do I put this? Yes, go the extra mile, do the research, but when the process of doing the research, you also learn along the way of what other alternatives you can use. Just like my little story. Go into your home and smudge with sage to get the demons or the ghosts out, because all you're going to do is bring them in. It's like pretty much an opening the door and saying, come on in. Anyway, Kate, I will get to that this evening. All of you out there have a blessed Sunday. I will be back in a few days, and we will do the stars of Lisa Marie Presley. I've kind of been busy. This is my busy month where a lot of people are getting progressive readings, and I'm running sales. So through the whole month of January, my whole store is on sale. So I would take advantage of that opportunity. And I will see you guys in a few days. Kate, have a good evening, and keep an eye on your email. I'll be sending you something, okay? Ciao. Bye-bye.